In this episode, I'm going to go over the idea of creating confidence for yourself as an athlete. Hey there, I'm Eli Straw, mental performance coach and the founder of SuccessStartsWithin.com. Now, when it comes to having confidence going into a game, do you think this is something that you have to hope for? Right? You just say, okay, I hope I feel confident going into the game today. Or is it something that you think you can create and you know that you'll be able to go out there today and have confidence when you compete? Now, for the most part, confidence ends up being something that we hope we have. It's almost this out there idea, this thing that's out of our control that we hope just happens to us today, and we're able to go out there and we are able to have trust and we are able to play with this level of freedom that confidence gives us. Now, that's fantastic when you actually have that feeling, right? But we run into trouble when we are waiting and hoping to feel confident and wondering if we'll feel confident, and then we don't. And then we are playing with timidness, right? We're playing with anxiety. We are playing with fear because we're not able to generate that feeling of confidence. Now, I was talking to an athlete last week on a coaching call within one-on-one coaching, and we were going over this very same idea because he was telling me that he's hoping that he feels confident going into the games this weekend. Now, he ended up having some good games this weekend, and he and I have talked about that now, but when we were having our session together, he was telling me, I hope I feel confident going into this weekend. And so then I was challenging him and I was saying, okay, well, why would you hope to feel confident? Don't you want to know that you can feel confident? Now, the truth is, we can't always guarantee with 100% certainty that you'll feel confident going into a game. But what I'm really going over right now is about the way that we are viewing this confidence, the way we are viewing your mental state when you compete. When we wait and see, when we hope, when we wonder, when we think of your mental state and the confidence that you compete with as something that is out of your control, then we're going into the game kind of watching and wondering and thinking, am I going to feel confident today? But when we see it as something in your control, then we ask ourselves a different question. And the question that we ask ourselves now is, what do I need to do in order to feel confident when I play? And that's a very powerful question for you to ask yourself as an athlete, because when you ask yourself that question, the answer becomes the recipe that you need to follow in order to feel confident. Now, like I said, you're not always going to feel, as confident as you can feel, and you may not even feel confident going into the game, even if you do all the things that you need to do in order to try to generate that confidence. But what will happen is that on a more consistent basis, you will feel confident. You will trust in yourself because you're doing what you need to do and you're taking the steps that you need to take. So what exactly are the steps, right? What can you do to build confidence in yourself and generate that feeling of confidence that you need when you compete? Well, to be honest with you, there are many different things that you can do to create a feeling of confidence going into a game. But for the most part, it's going to come down to mental preparation and physical preparation. Now, the physical preparation part needs to focus on fine-tuning the fundamentals of your sport, right? If you are a tennis player, making sure that your serve is in place, right? Making sure that your backhand is being fine-tuned throughout the week if that's something that you're currently struggling with. But you need to make sure your fundamentals are in place. This means you need to have a set of drills that you do throughout the week, right? You need to have a set of exercises that you do physically to make sure that you are in the best physical condition possible to go out there and compete. But it also means that you need to have taken the previous mistakes you've made, right? So let's say that you made a mistake in your last game. You need to have taken information from that game and put it into practice and have been working on it going into your next game, because that's how you're going to have more confidence in yourself within the specific situations or when it comes to those specific situations where you made mistakes. But physical preparation has to be done in order to have confidence going into your next game. Because this is where you have that belief in yourself, and most importantly, this is where you give yourself the trust that you need to let go, play freely, and trust in those mechanics that you've developed. So you have to be preparing physically. That's the key. That's a key part to generating this confidence. Now, the other key part to generating this confidence, and the part that I spend the most time focusing on with athletes, is the mental preparation. Now, this mental preparation is largely going to come down to your thinking, but it will also involve things like visualization and mental preparation that you're doing for the game in terms of game planning and strategizing. But if we just focus on that thinking part right now, as you're going into a performance, if you are wanting to generate a state of confidence, it's vital that what you're doing is thinking in a confident way. Now, what this means is it's not that you are thinking, oh, I'm amazing, I'm the best. You can think that if that helps you, but really it's just about thinking in a productive way, right? Thinking in a way where you're saying things like, I know I can go out there and play well. I know that I'm going to have confidence for this upcoming game. I know that I'm putting in the work, right? I'm practicing throughout this week. I'm getting ready for the game. I know that I'm prepared. And that's a stark difference between you versus you saying, I hope I feel confident. I wonder if I feel confident, right? You see how different those two types of thinking are? When you're able to think, I know that I'm going to feel confident this upcoming weekend. I know that I'm going to be feeling confident for this game. I'm getting ready for the game. I'm ready to compete. I am preparing well. You are asserting that you will feel confident, and doing so ends up generating that state of trust and confidence that you're trying to create in the first place. So you need to make sure that you're really paying attention to your thinking as you are approaching the game. And something that I like to tell the athletes I work with is that you want to imagine that every single statement that you tell yourself, every single time you're really thinking about your performance, you are either fueling doubt or you are fueling confidence. And we want to build up that surplus of confidence, so we have to keep feeding ourselves those confident thoughts. Now, this doesn't mean you're lying to yourself, right? If I'm telling myself, I know that I'm going to be prepared for this weekend, I'm putting in the work, I am getting prepared, I trust that I can go out there and play well, none of that's a lie, right? As long as I'm putting in the work, as long as I'm preparing, as long as I'm doing what I need to in order to put myself in a position to go out there and play well, right? So it's not that you're saying I'm the best player on the planet. Again, you can tell yourself that if that helps, but we want to be honest with ourselves and truthful while we are also building this confidence by having these positive thoughts. The other side of this is visualization, right? You can use some visualization where you are mentally rehearsing your performance. You're going through in the days leading up to the game. You are imagining yourself playing well. You are visualizing different scenarios happening within the game. And then you can also use this mental preparation to identify, what your game plan will be. This includes watching film. Again, if you're watching film and then you're creating a strategy, then you visualize that strategy, right? A lot of tennis players I work with will go ahead and visualize themselves facing off against the opponent that they'll play if they know the opponent that they'll play. Same thing with baseball players once they identify if they're facing a righty or a lefty, and then they're going through and they're creating their strategy for themselves. There are a lot of things that we can use, a lot of different tools we can use when it comes to mental preparation. But for the sake of this episode, and especially with this idea of generating confidence, if you just simply focus on visualizing the days leading up to the game, so you're mentally rehearsing the performance, and then you focus on having confident thoughts, so trying to generate that state of confidence with your thinking, you'll be able to generate a different level of confidence instead of waiting and wondering and hoping, will I feel confident? Because confidence is a feeling, and a lot of the feelings that we have aren't necessarily 100% in our control, especially in the moment. But if we view confidence as something that we can create, we then take the proper steps that then work to give us more of a state and a sense of confidence and trust in ourselves when we compete. If you're able to do that and pair that with that strong physical preparation, you are putting yourself in a phenomenal position to have confidence for your next competition. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos each week on sports psychology and mental training. And if you have any questions about any of the programs that I have available, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best of success in all that you do.